Good morning and thank you for being with us. This is the Local Connections with Khalil Hachem, editor of michigan.com, a digital business magazine serving the Arab American communities in Michigan. We provide business and real estate news, loan and lending information, support for small business, and much more. Visit us at michigan.com. Once again, thank you for being with us. The number here is 248-557-3300. Give us a call should you have a question or a comment in Arabic or in English. It's very cold today. The cleanup after the storm is underway. Be safe. We have a great program for you today. Friday, February 18th, 2022. We're going to be talking about the Russian standoff, filing taxes, home heating credit, and a new state program that would help residents pay their bills and stay in their homes. We're going to begin with the Russian standoff. The United States has threatened Russia with severe sanctions if President Vladimir Putin invades Ukraine. Putin said he does not want to invade, but he has amassed a large number of troops on the border. Will he invade, and what is the cost to the United States if he does? With us this morning, Dr. Brad Roth, a professor of political science and law and director of undergraduate studies, Department of Political Science at Wayne State University. Dr. Roth, good morning. Thank you for being with us.
Good to see you.
We appreciate it. Well, the United States said Putin is about to invade, and Putin said no. Who's telling the truth and who's bluffing?
Well, it's very difficult to tell what's happening in this situation. It's been quite remarkable that the Bush administration, the Biden administration has been putting forward these statements, basically warning everyone that this is about to happen, making it sound like they're thwarting Putin's efforts by disclosing Putin's plans, but seemingly doing the opposite in the sense that it's basically putting the onus on Putin to either do this or to sort of shrink away, and that doesn't seem well calculated to get Putin to back off. It seems better calculated to get him to be reckless.
Absolutely, leaving no political solution there. And does it seem like he may invade? I mean, it's we're just guessing, but does it seem?
Yeah, it's difficult to tell exactly, but it's also hard to know exactly what invasion means. So you have, on the one hand, these 130,000 troops that are in proximity, although proximity is relative. A lot of troops are based in that general area generally. It's a lot of troops, but it's not a lot of troops to conquer Ukraine.
Sure.
So the question is, what would the objectives of an incursion be, and how widespread would the incursion be? Putin could conceivably simply move forces into the territories that are controlled by his proxies in Luhansk and Donetsk, these two areas in the Donbass region that are controlled by pro-Russian militia. And that would, on the one hand, cross the red line, and yet at the same time, it wouldn't really change the status quo in any very substantive way. And so I guess if I had to put money on something, that might be it. But it's hard to know what else. I mean, people talk about regime change. They've talked about, the idea of Russian forces actually going to Kiev to try to change the government there. That strikes me as a much, much higher risk scenario, and it's hard to imagine Putin undertaking that. So we might see something in between those two things.
Yeah. Could he support the pro-Russian militias there and let them create a trouble for Ukraine?
Well, they already create trouble for Ukraine. The key problem is that you have two major breaches of Ukraine's territorial integrity going back to 2014. The first, of course, was the Russian annexation of Crimea. And that's basically something and no one can do anything about. The Russians are there formally. They assert the annexation of that part of Ukraine. And although the West refuses to recognize this and has invoked sanctions against Russia for this, the bottom line is there's no moving the Russians out of that. The other piece is what the Russians formally deny being, occupiers in, which is this Donbass region. where you have these forces that to one extent or another are basically proxy forces of the Russian government. And these forces have managed to fight to a stalemate, to maintain some parts of the territory of the Donbass, that the Ukrainian government cannot assert control over. And there's been this simmering conflict over all of this time.
Has Ukraine always been independent?
Well, no, and there is very complicated history here, and of course, going way back, the claim is that Kiev is sort of the origins of the great Russian Empire, going way back, and started as Kievan Rus. But a lot of this stuff is a kind of mythology. The Kiev, of course, Ukraine, in modern times, won its independence at the time of the dissolution of the Soviet Union. There is a sort of seller's regret, one might argue, on the part of authorities in Moscow. It was a very strange situation, one perhaps unparalleled in history, where the center seceded from the periphery. That is to say that the Russian Federation really occasioned the breakup of the Soviet Union because the leading political forces had control over the Russian Federation and were willing to be rid of that structure. But the problem was, of course, there are substantial Russian-speaking populations in various parts of what the Russians refer to as their near abroad. These are states that are sovereign under international law and entitled to territorial inviolability under international law, yet in a number of cases, their territorial inviolability has been breached by direct and indirect means on the part of Russia to disrupt their territorial integrity. And so Ukraine is the most blatant example of this, at least at the moment.
I counted on news reports in the evening, they mentioned the word invasion like 17 times. Invasion. I mean, why now? I mean, that media pressure, that political pressure, is it because Biden, his agenda is really, is it a distraction for Biden? I mean, is Biden use it as a distraction for his failed agenda?
Well, it always occurs to people when there are domestic difficulties that perhaps foreign policy crises are convenient. But I think other things are going on. The big problem here, is rooted in the aspiration of Ukraine to become part of NATO. And the status quo that has changed in the last couple of years, and in a building way, is Ukraine's continued agitation in that direction. And although NATO is not ready to receive Ukraine, Ukraine is making a lot of noises along these lines. And there was this long-term promise made back in 2008 to incorporate Ukraine and Georgia into NATO. And this is seen by the Russians as a direct challenge to them. Whether they earnestly see it as a security threat is unclear, but they clearly see it as a defiance of their sort of self-conceived role as a major player in global events. If NATO can expand into the near abroad, this is basically revealing the Russians as being powerless to control events in their sphere of influence, and that has given rise to a substantial backlash.
The Russians claim that there has been an understanding that NATO would not expand into that area. How true is that?
It appears to be true, but it was never made in writing, and so there's some dispute about the specific nature of it. In any event, of course, that train has long since left the station. The real question at this point is the incursion of NATO into these areas where the Soviet Union existed. And not only that, you had the Baltic states as kind of an exception. The Baltic states were unlawfully incorporated into the Soviet Union as a result of the Molotov-von Ribbentrop Pact in 1939, and so it was never recognized by the West. And so there's always been something different about Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. But Ukraine and Georgia are very different. And it is this that is particularly sensitive from the standpoint of the Russians. Also very important to note that the United States would never tolerate this sort of thing in its own sphere of influence, and you don't have to look back very far to major incidents over these kinds of matters. Remember that the Russians built an airport in Grenada in 1983, and that was effectively good enough reason for the United States to invade a sovereign country. And so there were other things that happened surrounding that, but that was basically what the whole thing was about. Similarly, of course, the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 took us to the brink of nuclear disaster. For counterpart reasons.
How would it affect us if there is some kind of alleged invasion or activities there, and then the U.S. imposes sanctions on Russia? How would it affect us?
Well, it's a little hard to say. I think that the big question is going to be how it affects Europe economically. And this is a serious difficulty because of Russian supplies of natural gas to our European partners, particularly Germany. And so I think that there's going to be a substantial difficulty as a result of this. Not necessarily blowing back on the United States as such, but it's definitely going to complicate international relations in ways that seem to me to be quite unfavorable, particularly driving together the two great challengers to U.S. global hegemony in military terms, the Russians and the Chinese. One would think that the goal of U.S. policy would be to do everything possible to avoid those two countries coming together in an alliance against the United States. And yet U.S. policy at the moment seems to be encouraging that very development.
As you well know, in international politics, if Russia is pushing in one area, then America is pushing in another. If Russia gets pushed on Ukraine, where do you think that Russia may put pressure on the U.S. or the Europeans? Is it Syria? Is it other places there?
Well, of course, there's any number of ways in which the Russians can retaliate directly and indirectly. Syria is a substantial issue, and of course, the relationship between the Russians and the Israelis is remarkably complicated in that they would appear to be antagonists given the extent of Russian support for Assad. And Russian participation in activities inside of Syria that Israel sees as inimical to its national security. But actually, it also seems that the Israelis are highly dependent upon the Russians being kind of the hand of restraint in that part of the world with respect to both Syria and Iran.
Exactly.
And so this creates further complexities.
Is there any part of this discussion I didn't raise that you think it's important for our listeners to know?
Well, I would just add, I guess, that, in one sense, as a matter, the United States is standing up for international law, not only in the sense of the territorial integrity of Ukraine, which, of course, has been very substantially compromised by aggressive Russian action going back to 2014. But also this notion that sovereign states have the right to determine their own alliances. That is true as a matter of international law, but it's not true as a matter of political realism. And it's really remarkable that the United States administration is standing up for a principle that it would not, quite overtly, would not be willing to tolerate in its own sphere of influence. And that really is not only superfluous, but also, is this sort of hypothetical situation because NATO is not ready to receive Ukraine as a member of NATO anyway. The idea that we would be egging on a confrontation over Ukraine's right to be a member of an organization that won't have it is just almost beyond belief.
It's amazing. And, last week they told us there's going to be an invasion. It didn't happen, and we'll see what happens. As always, we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye now.
At Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic in Dearborn, we provide effective physical therapy sessions in order to limit pain and discomfort. Top Rehab provides physical therapy care for any diagnosis prescribed by a physician, and we regularly see and treat conditions such as stroke, TMJ, fibromyalgia, sciatica, joint pain, and more. We use a variety of pain management methods, including modalities, soft tissue mobilization, and therapeutic exercise. If you're in need of physical rehabilitation or physical therapy, get the highest quality health care at Top Rehab. Most insurance is accepted, and we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 8 to 6, Tuesday and Thursday 8 to 5, and Saturday 10 till 2. Call for an appointment today at 313-846-0555. That's 313-846-0555. Choose Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. Life's too short to be in pain.
While we've been staying safe at home, scientists have been on a journey. The destination, a COVID-19 vaccine. This journey began decades ago with research into other coronaviruses. Scientists built from there with months of research and development, cooperation with other experts worldwide, and clinical trials on tens of thousands of volunteers of diverse race, age, and health status. They arrived at a safe, effective vaccine, and hundreds of thousands in Michigan have already been vaccinated. But the next step is ours. We need to get the vaccine when we can. Keep wearing masks correctly and taking precautions until we reach our destination, freedom from COVID-19, and getting back to the lives we love. Discover the facts for yourself at michigan.gov/COVID vaccine. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Dana, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
When it comes to reproductive medicine, IVF Michigan Fertility Centers are the recognized leaders. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 5 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. As a founding member of IVF Michigan Fertility Centers, Dr. Nicholas Shama is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. Dr. Shama has performed over 10,000 IVF cases and has helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. American board certified in both obstetrics and gynecology and reproductive endocrinology and infertility, Dr. Nicholas Shama is a very caring, compassionate, expert physician that understands not only the medical but also the emotional toil of infertility on his patients. When it's time, get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio. Call toll-free 855-952-9600, 855-952-9600.
What's my ETA?
Your estimated time of arrival is 9:17.
I'm late. I'll have to punch it.
Speeding will save you just 1 minute and 36 seconds. It will also increase your risk of a crash, as well as the odds that you will be stopped and issued an expensive speeding ticket.
Yeah, but...
In 1 year, there were 22,000 speeding-related crashes in Michigan, resulting in 200 deaths.
If I had someone in the car with me, I'd drive slower. But it's just me.
This is not a logical response. Though you have no passenger, surrounding cars contain 27 others, including 5 children and 1 Labrador Retriever.
How do you know all this stuff?
I know everything, Kevin.
Your risk of a crash increases with every mile you drive over the speed limit. So slow down. Speed enforcement is happening now. A message from the Michigan Office of Highway Safety Planning.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem, editor of themichigan.com. Now we're going to shift to another topic. This is tax season and many people do not know about a credit the state offers to qualified residents to assist them with heating costs. It is called the home heating credit. That is what it is and how it works. With us this morning is Ron Leitz, spokesperson for the Michigan Department of Treasury, and to help us understand the credit, how it works, and what it is. Good morning, Ron, and thank you for being with us.
Morning. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So what's the home heating credit and how it works and who is qualified?
All right. Well, the Michigan Department of Treasury is now accepting applications for Michigan's home heating credit, and it's an important tax credit that helps qualified homeowners or renters with their winter energy bills. And this credit can provide assistance on heating bills during our cold seasons, like we're experiencing, well, kind of right now. It's a little warm, but it's going to get cold with the storm coming and all. And it allows individuals to spend their hard-earned dollars on other necessities. So we're just asking that those who think they may be eligible to apply. And this can include those who are low income, deaf, disabled, blind persons, disabled veterans, senior citizens. These are all groups that may qualify. So it's an important credit, and we're asking people, please check it out, see if you're eligible. You don't have to file an income tax return to receive it. You just have to fill some paperwork, whether in paper, actual paperwork, or you could do it online.
And how do you do that? You just go to the website. Where do you get that application?
So there's a couple of ways you can get the application. One of them is you can go to mifastfile.org. That's MI, like short for Michigan, fastfile, all like one group.org. And you can e-file for this home heating credit. So that's an easy way. That's the easy way of doing it. Or you can go old school, go to michigan.gov/treasury, pull up the paper form, complete the paper form, put it in an envelope, slap a stamp on it, and send it off, and we'll get it and we'll process it. So, and if you want to, and let's say you don't have access to the internet, we also have home heating credit paper forms in limited quantities at public libraries, some Northern Michigan post offices, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services county offices, and Treasury field offices. So we do have those paper forms available. And if you're having problems even navigating through this process and you need a little assistance, please reach out to us. You can call us at 517-636-4486.
Okay. What's the average amount, residents can receive? Is it a one-time payment? Is it a monthly payment? What kind of payment it is?
So we did some number crunching because we were like, well, how much do people generally receive on this credit? And each year it can vary depending on how much is in the bank that we can distribute, that we receive from the federal government. So over the last 5 years, we've had about 277,000 claimants, and that's on average over the last 5 years. And each year they've received the home heating credit with an average of about $193. So we're not talking a little amount of money. That's a good size chunk of money to receive.
Sure.
So, so over the last 5 years, average claimant, which individual filling out that form, was $193.
Absolutely. And, give us an idea, what is the threshold for income for those who are qualified?
So I don't have the income threshold in front of me. It's typically low income, and that can depends on what you do and what you crunch your numbers and how that turns out to be. But I will encourage folks to just go online and go to michigan.gov/treasury to just look up some of the specific details about this credit. And if you don't understand what's happening or how it's going on, or even if you have questions on how you qualify, just give us a call. We're standing by and we're ready to answer your question.
What's the number again?
That number is 517-636-4486. 517-636-4486.
For the qualification, do I use last year's income tax?
So what you'll need is you'll need a series of information. You'll typically need, I think, your total household resources. Now I might be blending that in with the earned income tax credit. So we have a series of different credits that we provide. But what you'll want to do is you'll want to carefully watch the form or read the form and figure out what parameters apply to you. And that could include, it could be anything from looking at your total household resources, adjusted gross income, all those things. Just carefully read the form and you'll find out what you'll need.
Yeah, it'll guide you through what you need to do and how you need to do it.
Exactly. When you look at the home heating credit booklet or information, even online, there are detailed instructions, step-by-step instructions to walk you through this form, and it'll help you navigate through this process.
Yeah. And the worst comes to worst, the state says no, and it's no big deal. If you qualify to get it, if you don't, you just move on.
That's correct. It's and there, you never know what you're eligible to receive. And I also encourage individuals, if they're working with a tax preparer, to please reach out to that individual and ask, hey, do I qualify for this? Because it doesn't hurt to ask questions whether you do qualify for the home heating credit.
Sure. Now, you work with the Treasury. For those who are not familiar, what do you do, guys?
So the Michigan Department of Treasury is the state's revenue agency. We're also the state's investment agency. We're the state's bank, so to speak, in many regards, and how we run state government. We collect taxes, we process taxes. We also administer local government financial assistance, whether it be a school district or a local unit of government. We process grants. We do a lot of bonding too for local units of government to help, whether it be like a building project or some sort of school bonding. We're involved with that. So we do a lot of, we're not just taxes. We're in a little bit of everything, so to speak, throughout all of state government.
Absolutely. Now, the IRS mentioned that they're way backed up, and it's alerting people that the refund may be late. How's the state? Are we going to have any late refunds? When it comes to filing taxes this year?
I haven't heard anything about a backup at the state level. I can tell you that. I know we have our teams on standby. We are going through and processing those returns as we receive them. Now, if somebody is filing their income taxes, the starting point for the state income tax. So you have two things. You have the federal income tax return and you have the state income tax return. The federal income tax return is related to federal income taxes. Then you have the state income tax return, which applies to state income tax. It's two separate things, but they're related. They're both taxes. Sure. So for the state income tax return, you need your federal adjusted gross income because that's the starting point of the state income tax return. So when you complete your taxes, let's say you go and pull up an online service, there's many of them out there, and you go through and do your federal taxes, it'll trickle over your AGI, your federal AGI and your state taxes. You'll do your state taxes, you'll some e-file them, and we'll go through and process it. So they're connected, but they're not, they're independent of each other.
Exactly.
So as we strive to get our returns in the pockets of our taxpayers as soon as we possibly can. And I have not heard of any backup. And I know we are diligently processing tax returns as we speak. And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because the deadline this year is April 18th, 2022. We have a little, you have a little time yet. And as we're approaching the President's Day holiday weekend, believe it or not, this is actually one of our peak times where individuals file their income tax returns.
Absolutely.
You get this little holiday going on here, and we'll notice in this bump in the number of returns we receive during this window. So
absolutely. Any tips for those who are filing?
E-file. That's the easiest way. You go through, you complete it online. Your margin of error is reduced significantly by using e-filing. If you're doing like a paper return, there's a margin of error there. There's a risk where you may make a mistake, and that could delay you and your refund, and we don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. As the years have gone by, more and more people are e-filing, and I think at this point, we're like for last year, 88% of those who filed a state income tax return e-filed. So it's getting, it's going up and up and up and up. Yeah. So, yeah. And
the difference between e-file and paper file, if somebody files paper, they're going to come to you, somebody's going to review them, they're going to go into the system. There's a lot of delay. But if they are e-file, they're immediately into the system, somebody reviews them, and I'm sure there's a computer involved in the process as well. And that's cuts down the time for people to get their refund.
Yep. It's so automated. You go through and you start the process and you go walk step by step by step by step. It's really easy when you do e-file it to income tax return. And that's what our taxpayers like, this ease of use, and especially in today's age, you want your refund. You wanted it 5 minutes ago is when you wanted your refund. Absolutely. So by e-filing, it really expedites that process and it allows it to go right in your bank account directly deposit.
Any other credits that people overlook and don't really file for that they need to be aware of?
I'm glad you asked that. We're talking about the home heating credit, and the home heating credit is all on its own. That's a special credit, and there's actually a longer deadline for that credit. That credit is September 30th, 2022. So it's not parallel, or it's not hand in hand with income tax returns. It's self-sufficient tax credit, but you can get it when you file. There's also a credit called the earned income tax credit, right? And that earned income tax credit enables individuals to receive a 6% match on any kind of federal income tax or federal earned income tax given. It's confusing, I know. So it depends on it depends on your income, number of dependents you have, and all that stuff. So when you file your federal income tax return, you want to check to see if you're eligible for a federal earned income tax credit. If you get that federal earned income tax credit, then the state will automatically do a 6% match on that credit with your state income tax returns. So it's important you check that out. And that's where it comes in handy to go work with, whether you're e-filing, because when you e-file, it kind of walks you through that process. But also, if you work with a tax preparer, ask that question. Hey, do I qualify for the home heating credit, which we just talked about, and do I qualify for the earned income tax credit? Because the more you put these credits on, that could offset anything you may potentially owe, or if you don't really owe anything, that could really beef up your refund.
Absolutely. Now, if I were to do an amended return, if I filed electronically, it'd be much easier than doing papers.
Yeah, it would. When you go through, and it depends on your service too. We can start going down a rabbit hole with these different providers, because different providers are different, and that's why it's important for you to choose a software service that's right for you. We don't endorse any particular service; we support the service. And same thing with a tax preparer. If you work with a tax preparer and you have this built relationship with that preparer, they can tell you the tricks and trades that may be applicable to your circumstances.
Absolutely.
We like to say too, every tax return is different. No two are the same, and how much you earn, how many dependents you have, what you may or may not be qualified for. Everyone is unique. So that's why we ask that individuals carefully look at their obviously their income, their federal tax return, and then see what tax credits are applicable at the state level, so that way they get what they deserve.
Absolutely. Is there anything I haven't asked you that people need to know?
So one other thing, if individuals have filed their federal income tax return, they filed their state income tax return, and they're curious about their state income tax refund, you can go to michigan.gov/where's my refund, like michigan.gov, where's my refund? And it'll eventually take you to a service called e-services. And with that, taxpayers can check the status of tax refunds, ask general or specific questions, change addresses, see the status of letters and correspondence they've had with the state Treasury Department. It's a way where you don't have to call the Treasury Department. It's an e-service that enables you to just do it on your own time instead of having to allocate time to call and be placed on hold. Absolutely. So we're encouraging individuals, just use e-services. We'll get back with you typically within 48 hours, and we're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And could you repeat that phone number one more time so we can put it on our website as well, so people, people to reach you for questions about whether it's the home heating credit or any other credit?
Absolutely. So if an individual has a question about their income taxes, we encourage them to call 517-636-4646. 4486. That's 517-636-4486. And this is for individual income tax, or what some people call personal income tax. There's so many taxes out there, and there's a different phone number for every tax.
Sure.
But this is for the individual income tax because it's income tax season. 517-636-4486.
Ron, I really thank you so much for taking the time to be with us, and we appreciate all you do.
I thank you very much for having me on, and same with you.
We're going to take a short break. Please stay tuned.
Get ready for an amazing experience at Ishtar Restaurant on 15 Mile Road in Sterling Heights. Enjoy excellent hospitality from owners Ali Al-Baghdadi and Fatty Bonham, serving the best in Mediterranean food. Try Chef Ali Al-Baghdadi's famous shawarma, the best Iraqi grills and food, and the best Arabic and international dishes. Dine in our authentic atmosphere or take out. Call 586-698-2585 or check us out on Facebook. Ishtar Restaurant practices all CDC guidelines and is open every day 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Have an amazing experience today at Ishtar Restaurant, 3625 15 Mile Road, Sterling Heights.
Are you going to start a restaurant or grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Najee Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Najee Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Najee Abood, 734-744-9796.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true in the face of flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Now more than ever, getting your flu vaccine is essential. Flu vaccines are proven to be safe and effective. In a typical year, flu vaccinations prevent millions of illnesses and thousands of hospitalizations and deaths in the U.S. Everyone 6 months and older should be vaccinated this flu season. To protect our essential workers and those who are at highest risk for flu complications, such as people over 65, children younger than 5, pregnant women, and those with underlying health conditions, we need to face the flu together. Help us hit the flu head on. Get your flu vaccine to protect your community and your loved ones. Learn more at michigan.gov/flu. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Kashat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab offers a great array of your favorite Mediterranean meals. Meals range from lamb specialties, shawarma sandwiches, seafood dinners, and they offer special big trays of your favorite food, plus much more. Kashat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab address is 32839 Northwestern Highway in Farmington Hills. Their phone number is 248-538-9552. That number again is 248-538-9552, and the supermarket is open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Kashat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab will definitely leave you satisfied.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem, editor of ViaMichigan.com. We're going to continue with another program the state is offering. It is actually a new program to help residents pay their bills and stay in their homes. With us this morning is Mary Townley, Director of Home Ownership with the state of Michigan. Good morning, and thank you for being with us.
Good morning.
Absolutely. Is it a new program?
It is a new program. We just launched it this past Monday on February 14th.
Who can benefit from it? Has it worked? What do people need to know?
Okay. The program itself was part of the American Rescue Plan. All states received an allocation from U.S. Treasury. Michigan received $242.8 million. And the purpose of the plan is to step in and help a homeowner that has a mortgage delinquency a delinquent property tax bill, if they are on a land contract, assistance with delinquent payments, mobile homes, and even a park lot rent for that mobile home. The program is also available for utilities, gas, electricity, water, sewer, and internet.
Who qualifies?
So the household has to be eligible for and comply with 3 different criteria. One is the home must be owner occupied. The household cannot exceed 150% of the area median income. And the last qualifier is that they must have a COVID-related hardship, either a decrease of income due to COVID or an increase in living expense due to COVID.
Okay. For people who just, if we can, let's say a family of 4, and when it comes to income, so that's under is it the 55,000 yearly or the 45,000?
It's actually HUD's area median income calculation.
Okay.
And the low end is 79.9. And some areas of the state go up from there. And the number also goes up for each additional person in the household.
Okay.
So out on our website, which is michigan.gov/myhalf, MIHAF, there's an income tab that interested parties can go to. They insert their city in which they live in the state of Michigan, and it will display what those income limits are.
Okay. Could somebody use last year's income tax, or do they have to use this year's income tax?
We would look at last year's, if they produce a W-2 and then provide proof that they're still working, we would look at that as the formula to calculate if they're within the income range.
Okay. And then they can go to the website and get the file for it, or can they get paperwork?
So if they go to this website, the Michigan.gov MyHalf website, the website has detailed guidelines on how the program works, and there's also an apply now button that all they do is click on that. It's an online application process, and then you can also, the homeowners can take photocopies of the documents that we need, and they can upload those documents through this online portal. For individuals that either don't have a computer or would like some help applying, they can reach out to our call center, our customer service call center. That number is 844-756-4423. And they will provide detailed information about the program and also assist a homeowner by doing a phone application.
Absolutely.
So then that leaves us with some households really want to have a sit down with an individual to help through that application. We're referring those homeowners to our MISHTA approved counseling agents across the state. And on that website, we also list those agencies by location.
I see. Is there a deadline for applying for this help?
So Treasury's deadline for all the states is all funds must be drawn down by September of 2026. But we don't believe that Michigan's program will be open that long, just based on the overall great need right now. So we expect our funds to be fully dispersed within the next 3 years.
Okay. And is it like a one-time payment, or is it a recurring payment?
So it's a one-time payment. The maximum a household can receive is $25,000, but we can pay funds up to that $25,000 for multiple accounts. Let's say they own their home on a land contract, they're delinquent on the payments, but they're also delinquent on the property taxes, and they need help with utilities. So we verify all those delinquency amounts, and we'll fund up to that $25,000 to multiple organizations.
Is this the first time the state is embarking on a plan like this?
Many years ago, we did have another federally funded program. It was called Step Forward.
Yes,
and that also was part of foreclosure prevention efforts. Yes. This one is a little bit more streamlined, and the eligible households must have those 3 different eligibility criteria items met. Owner occupied within income limits, and they must have a COVID-related hardship.
Absolutely. This, when we say owner occupied, this does not really apply to any renters.
Correct. Only individuals that own and occupy that residence.
Okay. Are there any state programs for renters?
There is a emergency rental assistance program that's being offered in the state. It's called CERA, C-E-R-A, and individuals can also find details about that program by michigan.gov /CERA, C-E-R-A.
Okay, /C-E-R-A?
C-E-R-A.
Yeah, okay. All right, and that provides rental assistance to renters and the landowners, only renters only?
It provides funds to the tenant, the renter.
Okay.
And we also require the landlord to participate in that application with that tenant. Okay. And then funds are dispersed to remedy the delinquency.
Absolutely. Is there anything I haven't asked you that people need to know?
Let's see. I think we pretty much covered it.
Now, is that assistance, is that taxable? Do they have to report it to the tax?
No, it is not taxable.
Okay, which is good. This is a good relief, that people don't have to worry about that. So
that's correct.
Absolutely.
I would just encourage interested homeowners in going out to our website to obtain details on the program and also help them apply for assistance.
Absolutely. And you said that also there are agencies that can help them. I want to repeat that because, we're going to get calls on this and saying,
right,
yeah, I'm not, online literate and I need help. Where can I go? And, it is online where they can find agencies to help them with that.
Right. So there's an online portal to apply. There's an 800 number that they can call to get help. And they can also reach out to one of our counseling offices.
Absolutely. Now they can apply right away. Is it up and running, or is there a time?
It is up and running. It is based on a first come, first serve until we've reserved and funded all of our award that was given to Michigan.
Yeah. Do you think the state has enough money for everybody who's, have you done like a studies, how many people may be needing that?
We are very thankful for the amount that we did receive, which is $242.8 million. But I do believe that there's a greater need than the amount of funds that we have.
So it's important for those who needed to really get on that immediately.
Correct. The other item I want to mention is if a homeowner is nearing foreclosure, so they're seriously delinquent, their lender has started the process of foreclosure. When the homeowners apply, we ask that question, are you in foreclosure? If they say yes, we get a flag placed on that file. And those are the ones that will be reviewed first.
Okay.
Our goal is to step in and help stop a foreclosure. So first come on those.
Absolutely. I want to thank you so much. Could you please repeat the phone number one more time if people need help, and then the website so we can get that down. So it helps when we repeat it more.
Yes. The phone number is 844-756-4423. And the website is michigan.gov /MIHAF, MIHAF.
There's no L in there?
No, MIHAF.
F, okay. F as in Frank.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And the other one, the Sarah one, is michigan.gov/C as in Charlie, E as in Edward, R, A as in Apple.
Correct.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I really want to thank you for being with us. And tell us a little bit about your program before I let you go. What your department and what do you do, and so we can acquaint you with our listeners.
So my area of responsibility at MISHDA is for homeownership. We provide housing opportunities for low to moderate income homeowners to purchase a home in the state of Michigan. So we do first lien transactions. We also provide assistance for down payment for households. And we do this with partnering with lenders across the state. So if there is anyone that's interested in finding details about that program, they can go to michigan.gov/MISHDA, MSHDA. And
what's the amount you provide for down payment assistance?
We provide two different dollar amounts. One is $7,500 that can be used for closing costs, prepaids, and some of the buyer's down payment. And then we have 236 zip codes that we can offer up to $10,000. With those transactions, the homeowner must contribute 1% into the deal.
Sure.
And then we can use the down payment to help cover any other remaining funds for that down payment.
Again, this is not a free money, meaning that this is not a grant. This is a free loan as long as they live in the house. They don't have to pay it back.
Yeah, it's the homeowner signs a note and a mortgage on the first mortgage and the DPA. The DPA loan just sits out on the property. There's no monthly payments, no 0% amortization of that transaction. Mm-hmm. And then when the homeowner sells that property or refinances it down the road, they would have to repay those funds at that time.
Absolutely. Does it apply to refinance? No.
No, just purchase.
Just purchase. And has to be first-time homeowner?
Either has to be first-time homeowner, or if they're buying in a targeted neighborhood, then we don't have a first-time homebuyer qualifier on those.
And that's for them to live in. Is that correct?
Yes, has to be owner-occupied property.
Absolutely. Again, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us and for providing all this valuable information.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to take a short break. Please stay tuned.
Are your hands feeling numb? Do you feel pain opening up a jar, turning a key? Are you noticing that your elbow and your shoulder are becoming stiff? Or were you recently injured in your arm? Hello, I'm Dr. Albajit Katranji. And at the Katranji Hand Center, which just recently opened down the street from the Somerset Mall, we can provide you with the latest in hand, wrist, elbow, and shoulder care. Visit us at www.katranjihandcenter.com to learn the latest techniques that we have to offer you, and I look forward to taking care of you.
Visit us in Troy at 1565 West Big Beaver Road, Building F, or call Katranji Hand Center for an appointment at 248-869-4263. That's 248-869-4263. Enjoy the first Syrian-style cuisine in Michigan. At Damas Cuisine and Catering, you'll find a wide selection of Syrian foods and sweets in our menu, like frikeh, poisi, grape leaves with steak, mishawi platter, hot mahashi, char-grilled kebab, shawarma, and much more. Get super fast delivery from Damas Cuisine and Catering right to your door. Order online at damascuisine.com/menu and track your order live. Damas Cuisine and Catering, 28841 Orchard Lake Road in Farmington Hills. Call 248-987-4985. Life is a nonprofit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493.
When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
I want to thank our producer. Also, I want to thank you, listeners, for listening. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. Bye now.